Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another edition of Back to the Primitive. This is our series of hobby side videos that is dedicated to the building of our Bonesplitterz Army that we're actually putting together for our studio. And as you can see here, we actually have quite a bit of it already completed. To be honest with you guys, the reason why we're working on this Bonesplitterz Army is because my friends and I are interested in doing a Age of Sigmar Path to Glory campaign. Is what we're planning on doing, and the campaign title is called Apocalypse Now is what it's called. Let me see if I can get that focused in there. There you go. It's called Apocalypse Now, and it's actually supposed to be a Path to Glory campaign that is fought with just 4 warbands, and all 4 warbands are nothing but Orc and Goblin warbands. Those are the only type of warbands that will be taking place of it. It's supposed to represent that it just took place right after the end times. So we have a warband of Iron Jaws versus a warband of regular goblins versus a warband of night goblins, and finally the 4th one, which is this one, which is a Bonesplitterz warband. And we're using the classic characters from the 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle to act as leader of each of the warbands, and it's about them fighting each other in the days right after the end times when the realms are slowly becoming, being built all over again, and they're fighting for control and for territory. So that's the kind of a coming up campaign that we're coming up with. It's called Apocalypse Now, and so this is the warband that I'll be using. These guys are called the People Eaterz, is what they're called. It is a Bonesplitterz warband. So as you can see, for my starting off warband, I have 2 of the squads already fully completed. The leader I'm going to use is Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet is going to be the leader. I'm going to use an old Savage Orc Shaman model that I have in my with my rest of my Orc and Goblin army while I'm working on these guys to make up the remainder of the army. So I got most of it done. I just have one more squad to do, which is here in the background. As you can see, they're starting to be base coated in green right now, and then I'll work on those guys next. But just to give you guys a little bit of information about my warband, it's going to consist of 3 10-man Savage Orc squads. One will be armed with bows, as you can see here. They got, of course, a Totem Bearer, as well as a Skull Beater. They got leaders, and these guys are armed with bows. These guys are called the Twang Twang, is what I'm calling them, to represent the fact that, because orcs don't have guns in the Age of Sigmar, so they can't use Daka Daka, so Twang Twang, which is the noise that a bow and arrow makes, that's what they're using. And as you can see with these guys, I painted these guys up with green as well as yellow, yellow being their war paint. I've also used highlights of turquoise to act as the highlighting color for these guys, for like things like string and other bands and wrist guards and stuff. That's what I use for these guys as well. Also, you have like everything made out of bone. Of course, you got flint weaponry because these guys are orcs, savage orcs, and bone splitters. As you can see there as well. I also have a big stabba. These guys are painted with the yellow and green with the yellow war paint to represent the members of this kind of squad, and that's what the tribe they come from. In the center here, I have Papa Shango. Papa Shango is the leader of is a Savage Orc Big Boss. Now this guy is converted. I didn't buy the Big Boss miniature. I just converted him quickly over from a leftover Savage Orc that I had, just because these Savage Orcs have a lot of character involved with them, so they have really, really neat sculpts. As you can see, this one I put mandibles on his face to make him look like he's a leader. Also got a bone shiv in his hand, look like he's flipping off the audience, looks like he's flipping the bird. And his weapon is, of course, I modified a big stabba to use this. The story with this guy is supposed to be that he killed a giant, and that this piece of bone here is the femur of that giant, and he uses that as his weapon because he is so strong and powerful he could use a big stabba all by himself. So that's Papa Shango there. As you can see, he's got yellow, blue, as well as magenta war paint, and the reason why is because all 3 of my squads have different war paint colors. This one will be yellow, the second one I'm going to show you is going to be blue, and these guys in the back are going to be magenta for their war paint. And then here's the second one. This is the Raka Raka. The Raka Raka is another one of my Bonesplitterz squads. These guys are just armed with weapons and shields and chappas and 2 chappas and shivs and stuff of that nature. So these guys are my close combat guys. And as you can see, these guys have been painted with blue war paint. That's what kind of separates these guys out. And I use magenta as the highlighting color. Now people are wondering, why are you using hot pink to pick out the accents on these Savage Orcs? And my answer to them is, why not hot pink? These are Savage Orcs. They don't care what colors they use, because in the end of the day, you may be thinking they're kind of weird for using pink, but they'll slam a stone axe right in your face and change your mind about it. As you can see, I got another big stabba right there for this squad to use as well. As you can see as well, I also use the same basing style I used from my 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Orc and Goblin armies, with like this Badlands kind of motif. I got like a terracotta colored base. On top I have put some crackle paste on top of it mixed with burnt sienna to give this orangey kind of wasteland mud look, so that way it dries and cracks. I know you can use Martian iron earth or whatever it's called that Games Workshop makes, but that stuff costs $5 a tub, whereas you can get like a 14 ounce of bottle of crackle paste is exactly the same thing, and all I gotta do is just mix my color ahead of time with it for it to dry out right. So that's what I use to save money on that, because that shouldn't come as a surprise. I am a cheapskate. So as you can see here, very, very happy with the way these guys are coming out. Very, very bright and colorful, as Savage Orcs should be in my opinion. They should be very bright and colorful. As you can see, the war paint design I went to, I decided to paint huge chunks of their bodies, different colors of war paint, to signify that that's what their magical war paint looks like. So you can see this guy in the background, his face is blue. I got one Savage Orc, I believe that's the champion over here, he's completely painted yellow, because he's all about that. So 2/3 of my warband is fully completed. I just got one more band to do back here, and these guys would be the Waka Waka. These are my spear-toting Savage Orcs. I got them, and I also have a War Doc model. As you can see, this one's also converted over as well. To make this conversion, you'll notice, let me zoom in real quick so that way you can see them a little bit better. And let me focus for you guys so that we can see it better. Okay. So this guy here, what I did for him is I just took another Savage Orc. I took a spearhead and just kind of chopped it down a little bit to make it look like one of his war sticks. I used another one like crow-headed war club to use as another one of his clubs as well. So this is my War Doc. And if you notice, the skull that I used for him looks like he's wearing a skull because to make him look kind of special out. All I did for that part is I used a skull from a Bone Thumper. Let me see if I can focus in on here on this guy. For example, this guy here. You notice there's a Bone Thumper here, he's got a skull. What I did is I took one of those skulls and I trimmed off the arm that holds it and kind of filed it down and did some sculpting with some files as well as some clippers. So that way it looks like it is a bone skull. So in fact, if you look at it here on the side, let me see if I can turn this guy over for you guys. Sorry about the zooming, I gotta sharpen it up. So you can see there I just kind of sculpted this side a little bit to make it look like the other half of the skull. So I just took some little time and effort and saved myself a lot of money to do it. I also chopped off a top knot from my Savage Orcs and glued it on top of his head as well to make him look a little bit more orky as well. And then finally, of course, I got a third big stab to paint up. And then once I'm done, this warband will be fully completed, and I can start using it in the upcoming Wapocalypse Now Battle Report series. So we're really excited doing that one. It's gonna be a lot of fun having 8th edition character World Scrolls from the original World Scrolls that came out for Age of Sigmar. And then, of course, having them battle for glory in the Path of Glory campaign of the Badlands, known as Wapocalypse Now. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe, because input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Google+, as well as blogger.com for all the latest and greatest news about hobby. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. You guys stay classy. Peace out, you guys.